gosh, it's so hello warm. It's so warm. So it's going to be using the Mystical Dreams Tarot. Ooh, Dreamer of Swords, Dreamer of Wands, Dreamer of Wands, Dreamer of Swords. And this is the Fish of Knowledge. Good morning, everybody. So no one tell the Baha man, but I left the dog out this morning. I actually so I have such a rich internal dialogue that I was just talking to myself before I started this. Not necessarily rehearsing, but sometimes before I do something, I just kind of sort of, I don't know, run through it. And I'm just like, yeah, it's like 6:30 in the morning. I just woke up, let the dog out, and then I was like, because then that song "Who Let the Dogs Out" came to my mind, and I was like, well, now I gotta look up who actually sang the song, and it was the Baha Men. So I'm gonna try to keep this under half an hour again today. Temperance is here. What's interesting about this Temperance card is that she has an oar and an urn, but there isn't any water. But we know it's not dry because if it were dry, then the flowers wouldn't bloom like that. There's almost this Tantalus energy. Tantalus, I forget what he did, but he was cursed. He was punished for something. The Lady of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Dream Angel. It's interesting because Temperance and who is it? The Angel and the Healer. Temperance and the Star came out in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot recently. And then the Seven of Cups is behind this. In this Seven of Cups, there's a little bit of an Isis energy because of the wings. This is an interesting Seven of Cups card. It reminds me of those like little metal obelisks or whatever that were just like popping up and then disappearing last year. But anyway, with Tantalus, it's like he's really, really thirsty and he's standing in this pool of water. And every time he bends down to drink, then the water separates. It's like it moves so he can never drink it. You know, back when the gods were doing stuff like that, like with Sisyphus, who would push the boulder up the hill only for it to roll back down. Sisyphus, Tantalus. Um, so it's not necessarily that energy, but it feels like this is someone who's prepared for something before it happens, right? And then with the Dream Angel, it's like now we see all the water that's come in. And that could almost be the same figure, right? Excuse me. And then the Lady of Cups came out. Why is this Meg from Hercules when she's like, no chance, no way, I won't say it, no, no. You swoon, you sigh. This is interesting because we see the two fish from that Five of Cups now, and they're both out of the water. Fish of Knowledge, her hair turns into water. There's an interesting dynamic here, and I don't know what it is. It feels like there's a little bit of an energy. And this, it's like it feels like it's refusing the blessings of nature. Like it's like she's like, I already have one rose, like I don't need any more. Thank you. It's really sweet, thanks. But and it reminds me of Capricorn. It reminds me of what Reem read for Capricorn yesterday. In that energy, it was like it's being provided something, maybe even from spirit, and refusing it for some reason, for whatever reason, right? I don't know. That's outside the scope of this reading. And then there's the Dreamer of Cups. There we go. Let me see here. I don't know. I'm gonna give this a few more shuffles. Siri's gonna pick a number. I'm gonna read what this thing is today. We're gonna see if we can get anything, and then I will probably go back to sleep, honestly, and then wake up and really get on. I'm just trying to build a stable muggle life. You know what I mean? Is that judgment? I don't know. This is interesting. It feels like something is happening in the dream space. It feels like she is sort of ascending to something in her dreams. And then this person, it's almost like they're creating something in the dream space. I don't know what, but all right. Now it's time for some my favorite virtual assistant. Hey Siri, choose a random number between 1 and 499.
A random number between 1 and 499 is 308.
308. That is the Fool and the Hermit. The Nine of Pentacles card just came out. It's interesting because it's almost this. There's this energy that, like, this is the sun, this is the moon, but then there's also like this path. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Eight of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles came out. The Eight of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. I think there's an energy of, um, excuse me, feels like it's, long story short, like shifting timelines. And the Seven of Wands is behind this Eight of Pentacles. And then the Dreamer of Pentacles is behind this. So it feels like the Seven of Wands is a vision that we have. It's a space that we want to reach someday in a state of abundance, prosperity, something that is ours out in the future. This Eight of Pentacles, it's the space of the work that we're doing today. This sort of like enlightenment, this, it's like the path is rearranging to get us here. It's almost like this is a fixed point, but it's not. We're actually getting closer to this. And if you look at the water there, yeah, because that temperance card, it's like it was already prepared for something before the water came. Here's a frog, and there was a lot of frog messages yesterday, and I can't remember any of them. But frogs can take in oxygen through their skin. They can breathe through their skin. And so the thing with the compressor, okay. I was like, what was the thing about air? But anyway, so real quick before I forget, This is what we're heading towards. This is what we're doing in the now moment. And as we are changing and realigning and reestablishing, it's actually leading us closer to this. And then this is how, like, the trajectory of things change. It's almost like you can swap one of these two things out for this. And then, I mean, there's a little bit of like, you have those two up here. And then you have like these two out on the side. So it's just this energy of like, almost like a divine plan. And again, it's that energy of like sometimes the detour is the path. I would argue almost that the detour is always the path, if because we're sort of always on path. But I guess there are different ways to get there. It's the space when like things change, when things evolve, when it precipitates even closer into reality, then it's like you can take a different road. Right. It's like you could approach something from the north, east, the south, or the west. And you go through these portals, and then all of a sudden, instead of you approaching it from the east, you're approaching it from the south. And so things just sort of change. The Dream Protector, which is the Emperor, just came out. See, this Emperor is holding back the water. It's telling the water, like, you can't go in there yet. But Temperance was prepared for it. And look, see, what is this? Now we have the Dream Carrier. It feels like the Dream Carrier is sitting in the space with the inner child, and the inner child can be as mature as it is. The Dream Carrier is sitting with the inner child. The Dream Protector is holding back the water, and then here's the Moon card. This is the first time I'm seeing the Moon. And the house, that castle, and the Seven of Wands, it's like it's in the water. And there's low key an energy of both the blue electric, no, the blue lunar storm and the yellow electric seed in this moon card. Because you can see that big old yellow thing, and then, the storm clouds. And that's so the blue lunar storm is the Mayan year that we're currently in. We shift into the yellow electric seed on July 26th. So the Emperor and the Empress are both. And then look, here's the Ace of Cups. Oh, see, because now they're both in the water. Well, yeah. Well, they're on an island, but the flowers are blooming for both of them. And so maybe that's why she was holding off. I don't know. There's that energy. This energy is kind of sort of coming through, though. It's like Emperor, Empress, Wheel of Fortune. Love that. The Ouroboros. Um, that energy is coming together. Finally. Okay, I'll give this two more. If cards would stop falling out, then I would be able to begin. So 308, that is the Fool and the Hermit. I'm going to pull from the top. First card out is the Six of Wands. Second card is the Ten of Cups. Third card is that Nine of Pentacles. Look at the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. It's almost as if it was a question of like, what if the sun was like a phoenix egg or a dragon egg? What if the sun was an egg for some kind of, I don't know, cosmic being? Who knows? And then the Six of Wands in this deck, it's all about alchemy. In a sense. This is an energy that even a poison can be medicinal in the right concentration. Oh my gosh. So now I'm seeing it as like there are these two Y's and then this sort of O in the middle. And it's like these are three different sort of pillars. There's a very cuppy energy here, which is why one of the reasons why I love this deck. There's something about alchemy in this and alignment. It's this energy of like when we learn from the past, then we don't have to repeat it anymore. And if we can learn from the past in a way that doesn't sort of keep us um, replaying the hurt and the pain, it's like if we can learn from the past in the way where we're not sort of like carrying around this baggage from it, where we only carry the lesson, then even better. I'm actually gonna have to go kind of slow because hold up, wait, is this the Hermit? No, that's Justice. She's Sophia, girl. I'm looking for number 9, right? The Hermit is 9. IX. Goddess X actually came out on Green's channel somewhere recently. Because I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure she's Mayan. I think. Oh, wait, there he. No, no, that's the Magician. What does Ovas Yeast mean? What is Ovas Yeast? I just heard that Ovas Yeast. Is that numbers? There's this earworms, a Russian earworms thing that I listen to. I've never gotten Russian before. Oh my gosh. I'm like, y'all gotta use languages that I actually know. Like English, please. Hold up. I just Ovas Yeast? Where's my Google Translate? Here it is. Oh, Russian. Okay. Ovas yeast? You have. You have? I guess it's do you have?
У вас есть.
Yeah, Ovas yeast. That it doesn't feel like do you have this? It feels like when you're like I just did this or I've done this and then someone's like you have? What was I even talking about? I don't even remember, bro. My brain is not here for this. It's too early in the morning. Use English. You have. It feels like a question, like you have. It feels like there's disbelief. It's not disbelief though. It's a shock. It's a surprise. It's like, when you tell somebody something and you're like, "Oh, I did this." And then they're like, "You have?" And it's like, I feel like it calls the ego into question because it's a "you have" that's said in a way of surprise. It's not said in a way of disbelief. It's not said in a way of challenging. It's just like, "Wow, like you have? What? That's crazy." Not like, "I don't believe that you've done that." So Ovasis is definitely not numbers, but it feels. I'm pretty sure when it came out in the earworms, it was like, "Do you have this?" Actually, let's just listen for a second. I'm small time enough that earworms aren't gonna come for me, but it's all an algorithm, so it might just pick up. Uh, Order. Let's see. Which one is it?
To order. Заказать.
Заказать. Oh, заказать.
To order. Заказать.
Overseas? I don't know. I'm not gonna go through all of these. I don't remember where it came out, but I just heard her say overseas, and it's "you have." Okay, well let's just continue. I'll keep it in my brain, I guess, if I remember. I am drinking iced coffee, but caffeine doesn't really do anything for me. So we have the Dreamer of Wands, the High Priest, the Priestess of Dreams, the Five of Swords, and then the Ace of Wands is here. Ace of Wands, Dreamer of Wands. There's a lotus that is blossoming within us in a way that we don't consciously recognize. And so it's almost like in the space of dreams, spirit is trying to communicate. It feels like something that we've already done. Or and I'm looking at the dove. And then the priestess of dreams and the five of swords. This is us. It's like we're trying to fish out something that we've experienced in dreams, or spirit is like asking us to try to remember our dreams. So maybe if you can start recording your dreams now, even if you don't have a dream, just record that you don't remember your dream or that you didn't have a dream. But it feels like if you get in the practice or in the habit of trying to remember, then you will. And see, it's like they're fishing in the five of swords for something that they experienced in the dream. It's the dreamer of wands, right? If you're one of those types of people that can like process, if you're one of those people who like continues to process information while you're asleep and you get solutions in dreams, then maybe that'll be something. I don't know. I still don't. I'm like, what is Ovasis? Ovasis. Here we go. The wisdom teacher. This is funny. We just saw this card. Okay. Seven of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, with the wisdom teacher here. Oh, look, that's the inner child that was with. That's the same child that was with the dream carrier. So is this the dream carrier in disguise? If this is the dream carrier in disguise, then I'm assuming that in that mirror on the moon, that's a portal to the dream protector. That holds resonance for me for personal reasons that I kind of talked about yesterday, I guess. And I'm also looking for the Fool. These have been coming out so close to the bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh. I love this. So the Ace of Swords and the Moon. The Ace of Swords and the Moon. The Ace of Swords was at the bottom or the top of the pile of revealed cards. The Moon is at the bottom of the deck. This Ace of Swords is interesting because this is so heavily coded to sun energy, but it's still dark. And under the Ace of Swords is this Lord of Wands energy with the Lady of Swords behind it. And I really mention it because that red snake is in both of them. It's like with her sword, she actually freed that snake because it's like the sword is piercing the egg. This is the revel is the rest that word revelation, the revelization. I'll just say this is the revelization of something that's fully formed. It's almost a space of remembrance. This is receiving a fully formed idea. Usually, when we receive ideas, it's like it's something that builds and grows within us. That's why it almost feels more like remembrance. And then Lord Ganesh is sitting there, sort of facilitating almost. And then see, that's exactly what I said, though, right? I was like, oh, that's the dream carrier. Because we already saw the dream carrier with the child. And in the portal on the moon, she's looking at the dream protector, the emperor. And then under the moon card is that emperor. It's the dream protector. That's what I just said. It's in the moon, right? So here she is with the inner child on this side of the moon. There he is on that side. And the Hierophant is here. It's the Five of Wands. Oh, that's interesting. The Five of Wands with the Hierophant and the Dream Protector. It feels like there's this battle, I guess, between Hierophant masculine energy and Emperor masculine energy. Yeah, I mean, if you look at what the Dream Protector can do, and then if you look at what the Hierophant is doing, like the Hierophant pales in comparison, right? The Dream Protector is literally holding back like that whole wave. Hierophant is down here playing in a pot. Like, you see the difference in ability? And what's interesting is, so under this Lord of Wands is this Lady of Swords. Under this Five of Wands was the Lord of Swords. So the Lord and the Lady of Swords are both here. Which to me, again, it's this energy. It's this energy. It feels like they're in different spaces. They're separated by a great distance, but they're trying to connect, or they are connecting. And behind this Lord of Swords is the Lady of Pentacles, which is that resurrecting sort of feminine energy. Again, with that moon right there. And just in case, so like in case you forgot, because she's literally right here. I'm just gonna show you these cards, and if you get any insight from them, then you do, because I'm not. Because caffeine don't work for me. So, oh, she's right there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's lay this out. Remember in that Six of Wands, there's that orb, and I can show you because it's literally the bottom, right? Anything in the right portions, or any toxin in the right uh, portion can be medicinal. And I think Reem also said that in some reading lately. I feel like I've heard her say it. It's been alchemized, right? This is the Fool, the Innocence. And also, again, there's this energy here. Okay. There are so many. I feel like things are becoming so like self-referential, if that makes any sense, and it makes it confusing. But it's that energy that it's like, if you have enough truth in something, then we'll believe it. So this sits here like this. was the Eight of Pentacles came first. Which one of these came first? The Three of Pentacles was last. I remember that. Oh, we have the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. And it's funny because the Eight of Wands was right behind the Eight of Cups. So I guess I'll put that on the table. Yes, I will because of the imagery on it. It fits the story. Kinda. That's actually not the card I saw. I thought I saw it. Oh, it's right here. That's the Five of Pentacles. See, and I saw this nine. It goes back to these three, where I'm like, I don't know what this is. This is not going to be as short as I hoped it would be. Because in this, it's like this is symbolic of us going through all of these transits or whatever. This outside, it's like one of those is the dream emperor or the dream protector. The other one is um, the dream carrier, right? Because it's that energy. It's like this. Like on this moon, we have those two looking at it from this side. On this side, it's him with that moon. And then this is sort of like us in the middle. As they are again. How did this get over here? Oh my gosh. I'm going to F it up. Right? And then again, this in the middle with those two outside, it's that energy. Right? We got the two on the outside. These two is these two on the outside. And then this thing is this whole thing right here. And then the Ten of Cups is there, right? It was the Six of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and then that Nine of Pentacles. So it's like the feeling has to be reached before the bridge can be gapped in the physical. Here, okay. I was like, what was at the bottom here? there's a whole bunch of like cycles within cycles, but that's reality. It's like at the same time this one thing is happening, there are other things happening, and they're happening in different spaces, but they're not disconnected at all. This is the Three of Pentacles I was talking about a while ago that came out on the other channel, where it's like she's picking from the tree, but spirit is still asleep, right? It's almost like we're reaching for such low hanging fruit that it doesn't really require the fullness of spirit, or we have been. Okay. I wish I had more space, but it's fine. The Seven of Pentacles is behind this Lady of Swords. And in the Seven of Pentacles, you can see that one moon is full, but the other moon isn't. And in both of these, it's like there are two full moons. I feel like it's one of the reasons why I try to encourage people to come to a space of being able to live in and I guess accept both sides of duality rather than sort of like trying to negate them in a sort of neutral sense. Because when they're both full, that's what establishes this connection. And it's so like if you rustling around, Russell, with the room that he left the video off on, it's this energy. It's like it might be easier to see it, I guess, if it were like this. And I'll just I want to show you. If it were like this, it would be easier to see it because they're both connecting to this space. And so when they're both connected, then this becomes a line. It becomes like this solid line. So imagine that that isn't there. And so you have this connecting up to this. And if we sit in this sort of like partial state, it makes it almost impossible for the bridge to be formed. And then there's the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost Rainbow Bridge up there. And it's like spirit in the form of this crow is trying to get this individual to look at, notice, start to work on filling this moon, but his head is like down. So it's like that's the bridge that isn't fully connecting these two. And then under the Seven of Pentacles, it's this Ace of Cups again. Oh my gosh. Under the Ace of Cups is this Dreamer of Lady of Cups, sorry. Under the Ace of Cups is the Lady of Cups. And it's like there they are sort of together in the same space. And look, she also has that. She doesn't have two full moons either, which is why she's sort of sitting separate. And here's the dream angel that feels like it's trying to connect them with the Ouroboros under that. I see that's him doing all of that. And this was the card that came out. It's like this is what masculine energy or a more divine masculine energy is doing right now. He's trying to sort of learn to fill his own cup in a way. He's making that transit from a more emotional masculine to a more divine masculine energy. But before he can complete this process, it's like he gets pulled out of that space. And in this card, it's like there was this messenger sort of that went to him, and it was sitting in the space of the Page of Swords, the stronghold of the Zephyrs. Because whether she knows it or not, it's like she's calling for him. And it feels like this dream angel in these like dream spaces, she's trying to sort of get them to work on whatever they need to fill themselves. Because again, where did they go? And both of these cards, like both moons need to be full in order to sort of establish that end of the bridge. I need to take a picture of this real quick. One second. Where's my phone? Because I'll forget to do it later. One second. It's fine. Now that whole song, that whole song is playing. Is it in there? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the Ovasist. Ovasist? Um. So this, it's like it's telepathic, I guess. it's like there's this energy between these two where again it's like when they are full shadow and light self-integrated, they can connect to this space and they communicate in this space, maybe in the space of dreams. And then it's like they're sort of like talking to each other and updating each other, and maybe one of them says something and it's that, oh, that's yeast, like you have what? It's like, yeah. It's like, what? That's crazy, me too. And they are a little different, but if you look at the I guess glyphs on their faces, it looks like one is the other, like upside. No, yeah, this way they look. I don't know. They look similar. They're different enough, but they're similar. This is their home. This is what they're both sort of trying to get back to, or what they're in the space of finding and creating. I don't have enough room for all this. Okay, right. But they need to, whatever it is that they need to do within self to get that other moon full, that's what they sort of need to do before they can occupy that same space. Yeah, it's right here. I want to pull him out. Right as he's sort of doing this thing to fill himself up, it's like it's changing and awakening something within her. So I don't have enough space for all this. As he's working on filling that moon, she is going through this metamorphosis process to fill her moon. And then again, once they're both connected, that establishes it's like, and then they reach out, they sort of find each other. I don't want to necessarily go full like, but it's like, so we can trace our lineage back to Adam and Eve, right? And so this is us. And then it's like, well, what if there's another space, like a parallel or alternate reality that is like Lilith and whoever Lilith, who was then created from Lilith to help Lilith come into the fullness of her sort of divine, feminine divine power, just like Adam is going through all of his lessons to come into his like divine masculine. And then in these two different spaces, when they both reach that completion, that's when they sort of like come together and they come to occupy the same space. But it's almost like, so here as we're working on integrating and elevating and ascending Adam, it's almost like Lilith is already complete as the married potential, that is like when we fulfill that potential, it's like it's already married. And so it's like on her side, then it would be the same. Like Adam is already complete. That sits in the space of like the married potential like the fulfillment of that potential and what it's married to. Yeah, that's why the Ouroboros is here. Because the snake still has legs in this card. This goes all the way back to Eden. So that's, and it's like as he is working on that, right? Fulfilling this or feeling that, the closer he gets to that being full, the more awakened she becomes. This is the returning of that sort of like Lilith energy as he becomes more and more whole. And then I saw these two cards. These two cards came out together yesterday, I think, or the day before. And it's like this hanged man is in her womb. And then there's the cord that wraps around the mummy, and then the cord that wraps around the leg and ties the leg to that clock. And then under that again is this dream, is the dream carrier under this hanged man. This is the card I was talking about, this Nine of Wands. So it's like, someone was hanging from the world tree or hanging from this tree, and it was the outlaw energy working on something. But you see the death in the back with the axe that was coming to cut the tree down. So this energy, which it's holding the space of a giant, this energy cut the hangman free because this was about to happen. This is where that sort of urgency all started, which is why it's like he may not necessarily have had the time to fully perfect this before he was cut free, but things are already moving. And so he's just going to have to, they're just going to have to get it together. As long as they operate in this energy, I think it would be fine. And look, see, these are the same flowers that are in this card. As she sort of like, oh, and look, she's coming out of that portal. See how it's there. See that? Out of that portal into his reality. And this thing that he's working on, it's sitting in the space of this conflict between the Emperor, the Dream Protector, and the Hierophant. he has to reclaim this space before she gets there. Because as long as the Hierophant sits in this space, it prevents her from fully sort of emerging. Because look at the moon and the Hierophant. That's the space that the Hierophant keeps us in. This is the narrative that Hierophant sort of spun that we do our best to resolve, but the space is not created to give us this. So this is again, it's like that's what he needs to do in order to make sure that things are good and ready for her return. Um, and the Hermit is here. Like all of this is sort of sitting off of the Hermit. And the Hermit's lantern, that's the thing that's going to be hanging in the sky in the space of the summer solstice, illuminating things. Check out Miss Remy Healings, her last summer solstice video, All Signs. And that may sort of reveal what you need to sort of work on within you to make sure that you are feeling and doing like whatever you need to be doing to establish that bridge on your side and to sort of, come into your power and get rid of those old sort of systems of thought and belief that keep you wanting. So everything has something except for this Three of Pentacles. And I still didn't even touch this 885 out here. 8885. Yeah, see, and that's this card here. That's why it's like in the state that the Hierophant leaves us in, spirit can't fully move and operate. It's like we cut ourselves off, or we're cut off by the Hierophant. This was here, right? No, yeah, this was here. And then here's the Dream Carrier. She's at the bottom now with this Ace of Cups. That, like, the Ace of Cups sits in between these two when they're like healed and whole. But I'm running out of room, so I'll put this here. I don't have anywhere to put these two. I don't have enough space. I'll put these down here, right? Because it's sitting in the space of both of them navigating their crescent moon. So I'm going to put these two down here, right? She's going through this internal transformation, and he is going through this. It's externally motivated. It's almost like the masculine energy is more naturally coded to the external. So it's this external internal thing. And this came out a while ago. It was the masculine energy that was in the space of a lot of external happenings that triggered internal changes. And it was the feminine aspect that was a lot more internal in nature. And so hers wasn't necessarily as externally motivated. And it wasn't that like either one was good or bad. It's just like they needed different things to help them work through whatever they were sort of working through. And this is, it's like its spirit also, it's like in the things that they feel within themselves, they are more whole when it comes to this building of a shared space, right? Because this, the Three of Pentacles is a card of cooperation, but it's like there are certain things, I guess, that needed or need to be done to ensure that like both people show up in the fullness of their capacity. I don't think I communicated that well, but I'm not gonna try anymore. If you get it, you get it. If you didn't, then I'm sorry, but okay. So the only thing I haven't really talked about at this point then is this energy. So this Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. This Eight of Cups was before the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles was sitting next to this Eight of Wands. So I was like, okay, I'll pull out the 8-8. But so the Eight of Pentacles was before that. The Eight of Cups was before the Eight of Pentacles, but this is the card that I saw. Her inside the belly of the fish. Oh, and look, and this card, oh, that makes sense. So this is the card that came out like in the beginning, right? And we see the two fish here. She's not looking at the fish. She's focused more on this stuff going on over here, while all of this is sort of transpiring behind her. These fish are like, let's hop out the water and like try to slap her in the face a little bit to see if she'll notice us. This, if you can see it in this, the moon is full. It's full in this card. Or inside the belly of this fish, it's full and it's connected to the Ankh, which is what Empress energy sort of holds. That's what she gives to the Emperor. That's the her side of the exchange in this Three of Pentacles. But if she's in this state, she doesn't have it. She doesn't have what she needs when it comes to this space of cooperation. And I don't know what the Emperor gives the Empress. My knowledge in that, like, I only know so much when it comes to the tarot and the occult and stuff like that. And my interest kind of sort of isn't there. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I don't know what the Emperor gives the Empress, but I know that the Empress gives the Ankh to the Emperor. But she doesn't even have an Ankh to give him. And this is what I was saying about how we can sort of prematurely elevate ourselves into that divine feminine energy status when we don't even have that to offer. And if you don't have that, you're not yet a divine feminine. And then you sort of like, but because you elevate yourself, and this is all Hierophant's game, because you elevate yourself to that prematurely without everything that you have to offer, it's like it keeps you separate from the fullness of it because you already think that you've attained it or achieved it. And it keeps you sort of focused on other things. While these fish of knowledge and wisdom back here are trying to get you to see something like that you're lacking. And what it does is it in some weird way, it puts you in a space to making room for toxic, incomplete masculine energies that don't have whatever that the emperor offers to you. Like they don't have that to offer either. Right. And it's like this is this energy in the belly of the whale. And Jonah got swallowed by the whale because he didn't do what God told him to do. Right. So he took a however long detour in the belly of the whale until he reached that space where he was going to use his gift to do what he was instructed to do with it. It's like this is the energy that Hierophant keeps us in. This is the energy that puts us in that place of power. And this is coming out around the frog and this Eight of Pentacles. So I'm actually going to put her up here. Right? No, I'm not. I'll keep this down here. And again, the internal transformation that's triggered within her, it's this. It goes this way. And it's interesting that this is the Five of Pentacles. It's a space of challenge. Right? We're a lot more comfortable sort of like putting ourselves in these positions of power where we can walk away, sort of placing all of the blame, all of the responsibility on someone else as to why something didn't work out or whatever. Sometimes it's a lot more difficult to sort of accept that which is within us that maybe even puts ourselves in a position to create experiences like that in the first place because of the things that we don't truly believe we're worthy of. And this is the Spirit of Cups. I think this is the first spirit energy that has really stood out to me. I've seen a lot of dreamers, the dreamer of cups, the dreamer of wands, the dreamer of swords. I've seen lords and ladies. This is the only spirit that I've really noticed. And it's something within her. It's tough. But this spirit is going to be with us as we're navigating all of this Five of Pentacles sort of energy. We have an Adam and an Eve to heal, balance, and integrate before we can sort of resume. Oh, that's what this is. We have an Adam and Eve to heal and integrate before we can resume that original divine plan that was Adam and Lilith. We have to heal our wounded feminine and our wounded masculine and then put them together to make a more complete divine masculine energy. And as we do that simultaneously, it makes room to receive a truer feminine energy or divine feminine energy. That is this. That is like, it's these two when they come together, but they're like, their moons are full instead of them being like, mostly empty. And then it's like they become this light. They become a light that then shines out into the world that makes it easier for more and more people to come into this, right? Maybe because now they see that it's possible. Just energetically, things just kind of sort of work like that sometimes, right? Someone has to blaze the trail, someone has to pave the path, but it's like after they do it, it makes it easier for those who come after. And that reminds me of what is Sagittarius's challenge in this sort of upcoming solar eclipse, our solar summer solstice. Creating that path where there isn't one, and there isn't a path there for a reason. It's intentional. But what what energy is there better to resist the restrictive rule of the Hierophant than Sagittarius, who like craves freedom and stuff like that? But it's interesting because I feel like the shadow of Sagittarian energy can be very Hierophanty. When Sagittarius buys into what it believes so much that it creates these sort of restrictive systems that it then kind of sort of wants to force on everyone else. And again, it's like shadowy Sagittarius energy. It's like, well, this is what I know and believe, and I've researched this. I know this for a fact. And you should believe it too. And if you don't, you're dumb, you're stupid, or you just don't get it. Right. Not necessarily. Anyway, kind of. Shadowy Sagittarius. We're all coming into the light of who we are, right? So everything is out. So let's see finally what we have today. Both the larvae and adults of native lady beetles, as well as those of the naturalized Asian lady beetles, eat aphids, mites, and other small soft bodied insects. Attract them with angelica, coreopsis, dill, fennel, tansy, and yarrow. Both the larvae and adults of native lady beetles, as well as those of naturalized Asian lady beetles, eat aphids, mites, and other small soft bodied insects. There's something in here. This is that thing that I was saying about like, even if there are certain energies or frequencies that don't currently exist on Earth, they can find a home here, right? It's not necessarily within our reality that both of these energies are fully healed, present, connected, and operating with each other. Right. And this is like the Lord and the Lady of Swords, which is like the coldest, oddest sort of couple in the tarot a lot of times. It might be like divorcees, like their relationship is, I feel like a lot of times I've heard people talk about the King and Queens of Swords, their relationship is like terrible. Or it's like there's not a lot of love there. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And again, it's that energy that it's like both native and naturalized lady beetles eat the same thing. It is a little weird though, because it these are insects that eat other insects, and them being insects that eat other insects, it's like this divine masculine energy is in the space of confronting less divine masculine energy. So too, divine feminine energy is going to be in the space of confronting less divine feminine energy. He's working on himself. She's working on herself. And it doesn't matter who came from where, everyone can find a home here. Earth is the home to so many beautiful and wonderful and sometimes scary, sometimes cute creatures. And they all sort of find their ecosystem, their biome where they thrive. And I think the same is going to be true for these two. But there are these things that they need to take care of within self and within the field of sort of like their energy, right? I guess I'll look up lady beetle meanings. I'm like, whenever I look up an angel number or an animal, I think I have better luck with animals, but it's like what I be getting is so different from what everybody else get. I'm like, do I not know how to Google? Maybe it's not for me to Google. That's my sign. That's like spirits like, well, you find out for yourself, pal. Cultures around the world see ladybugs as a very positive influence. They are often tied to love, prosperity, and good luck. And wherever you see them, good omens usually follow. In mythology and folklore, they grant wishes, protect babies, and provide safety for travelers. See that whole like that protecting babies thing? If you saw me cry yesterday, that's what this symbolizes for me. And unfortunately, it comes with this energy. So, and again, this energy is this. Hold up, wait. There we go. Wait. There we go. It's this. The things that they need to do, right? I remember I got such like witchy spiritual vibes off of this dude's mom. But when I was in RA, one of my residents was like, "Hey, this is my mom." I was like, "Hey." And then she was like, "Oh, you have a ladybug on you." I was like, "Where?" And she's like, ladybugs are like they're good omens. And I was like, "Yeah, like I can appreciate a good omen, but I don't want it crawling on me. Please." Naturalized and local. Born here or from somewhere else, doesn't matter. So, this is the 308. 308 is an 11. 3 plus 8 is 11. It's an awakening. It's something new in this space that comes in after a certain level of completion, right? I think a lot of times we look at the 11 and we get excited about what 11 can mean, but we don't necessarily go through that full completion, which is what this 7 of wands feels like. It is a little bit carrot on a stick, E, because it's what awaits us closer to the conclusion of, or maybe not the conclusion, but like when we're in the space of doing what we need to be doing, that's what awaits us. And so it's like there are things that you need to do. Like you got to close out a cycle and enter a new one before you hit 11. So 308, 300 is the Fool. Around the Fool, it's the Eight of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. 8 is, oh my gosh, I did this wrong. 8 is Strength. This is 309. Hold up. Ain't nobody tell me. Ain't nobody tell me I did this wrong. I looked at that XIII. No, that's IX. No, IX is. Oh my gosh, I did it again. I did it again. I'm looking for VIII. Goodness, did I even see it? We're just gonna look at it for clarification because I think all of this stands. Oh, it's Justice in this deck. Yeah, we needed to see all of this. Exactly. Yeah, we needed to see all of this to know what this means. And this makes a lot of sense for this. Because then it would have just been justice, strength, and the Two of Cups. It's interesting. So in this deck, justice is 8, and I'm assuming Sophia is strength. and she's 11. 8 and 11 are mutable. It's like sometimes justice will be 8, sometimes strength will be 8. And if justice is 8, then strength is 11. If strength is 8, then justice is 11. And both 8 and 11 came out. This is Mayat. That's like, she's the one that sort of weighs your heart on the scales at the end of your life. And if your heart is lighter than a feather, then you pass. If it's heavier than a feather, then, let's not. And so, no, it's behind her. Behind the dream carrier is that comet energy. That's the sun transiting something into that full moon. This speaks of, I mean, it's the 10 of Wands, it's the difficulty in that journey as that comet goes from sun to full moon, right? And that comet, it's here in Sophia. It's right there. Right. And in her hand is that sparkly, shiny, now full moon. And the quantum sort of nature of reality, it's like by the time we reach completion, whatever waits for us will also be complete. And then on the other side is the Two of Cups. And in this Two of Cups is that full moon. Both of the moons are now full. Where was that Ace of Cups? It's right here. Well, now it's this now it's a lot more luminous than just the moon, so it becomes it's a whole sort of like sun. But it's full now, and they're on the horse together. That's Hierophant energy back there with its twisted, corrupted feminine and its twisted, corrupted masculine. That's the shadow of Eve past after Adam and Lilith come back together. But it's not that Eve is going to be sort of like lonely, right? Because she's going to just integrate back into Adam. Adam is going to get that rib back. And then they're going to move forward and do whatever it is for them to do. I should have looked at this hooded figure and been like, something ain't right here. So this is 309 and 308. And it wasn't until I was like, 308 is an 11. And then I'm like, wait, this is 9. Goddess IX. I forget what she did or what she is accredited to in the deck. I know she came out for Reem before the live. Maybe in Gate 2? No, I don't know if she used goddesses in Gate 2 though. I don't think she used goddesses in Gate 2. I know the card came out over there. So yeah, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. And again, it's like I had to get this wrong to see all of this. Because this tells the same story, but it doesn't go into as much detail. Okay. So I guess I'll just do this, and then I'll do this. Like most of these cards, you're not going to see anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I'm going to take the picture. I'm going to set this as the thumbnail, and then I guess I'll shuffle all this up. This was a whole adventure. I was not expecting all this. I was trying to keep it under half an hour. It's almost 8 o'clock. Goodness. I'm not complaining. I am glad to serve. This I can do. This I can do. No tears, no worries, no hesitation, no trauma, no drama. Um, yeah. Now I can shuffle these up. That was quick. Who is this? The innocent. This is what's born between the emperor and the empress. The innocent. This is their child. And I feel like it's something that we haven't yet experienced in this world reality. And it's going to come with its own energy. That is probably very age of Aquarius. Oh, see, look. I told you, like, this is the home. This is that home where this is born. And ladybugs protect babies. Who was this? Oh, we got new energy. The Seven of Swords and Judgment. I mean, judgment is judgment. This is an officiated union. Right? We got the masculine and the feminine. And this bow, that's in the Lover's card in the SKT. We got masculine and feminine, that energy up there presiding, this energy down here. That's the energy that the Lady of Pentacles was rising out of. There's the fish right there that kind of sort of spit her out, right? He's sitting with these lily pads. I don't know what that is. Here's the fire that was under the egg in the Ten of Cups. And so it's like it hatches out into this thing. And then the Seven of Swords is here. The Seven of Swords for me sometimes is a card of birthright. And this is us doing everything that we need to do within self to receive our birthright. That's what's being judged right now. Because there is like a heavy observer energy. Bottom of the deck is what? Oh, it's right here. Okay, thank you. This fire right here is this one. Right, it's the same fire. And it's like after this egg hatches, it pops out into whatever that is. This is what's required to make that work. There's some balance and justice. Justice, that's the card that came out. That's the one I should have been looking for the whole time. I don't know what that other one is, but it's land. I think the land is this. Right? This is the space that they're given when they come into that, when they heal all the things that they need to heal. So the Six of Wands, being a card of victory and transmutation. Anything, a lot of toxins in the right portion can be prescribed as a medicine. And again, that's this energy, right? When it's sort of medicinal, that space where they can exist. They're being recognized. That's cute. And then here's that Ten of Pentacles. This Ten of Pentacles was behind the card that was behind the Dream Carrier, I think, because I kept seeing it, but it wasn't really saying anything to me. That Ten of Pentacles is where they can all exist and be happy, right? That's your traditional Ten of Pentacles energy. And it's like since the beginning of time, there have been so many systems. And this Ten of Pentacles, it's almost like it speaks to like older belief systems that put us a lot closer to healing and navigating these things that we need to sort of work on within self before that newer Ten of Pentacles and 10, the Ouroboros. There's 10 at the cut again. Yesterday, and if you look at the thumbnail, you can kind of sort of see it. It was the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Wands. forgot what I was saying. I forgot. Older systems of belief used to get us closer to that, because that's sort of what they were for. They were for explaining the world to us and how we fit into the world and how we could communicate with spirit and how we could observe spirit in the natural world. And then it's like, current high refined energy came in, especially in a lot of more sort of Western belief systems, and just kind of sort of screwed the whole thing up. And not completely, but for everything that it gives us, there are things that it just doesn't, because it's interested in keeping itself in power. Hierophant's got bills to pay just like everybody else, so it will commodify religion and spirituality. And it's not to talk on anyone who charges for their services, because they should be compensated for their work just like anybody else, right? You don't go, well, maybe that's not the best example, but it's not like, you don't go to a lifeguard or a doctor or your police officers and go, you should work for free because you're doing a service to the public, right? Like, girl, no, like I gotta eat, I got bills, I got a family just like everybody else. Excuse me. And that's not to say anything about, it's not to say anything either way. We all get to choose and decide, and what's for us is for us. What is our path is our path. And if that's something that we decide to do to sustain ourselves, we should be compensated for that. And it is an exchange of energy. It can be very draining. And I think a lot of times it's like people will feel very sort of entitled to certain people's energy. But then at the same time, some people feel that they shouldn't even have to compensate them for it because it's something that they should just do out of the kindness of their heart. And they do. But again, bills, food, it's the nature of the beast. It's the world we live in. And I think it can be also sometimes reflective, depending on our relationship with that, of how we can kind of sort of demand and want so much from spirit, but how very little we do to actually sort of, for lack of a better phrase, hold up our end of the bargain. You feel entitled to all the rewards, and like you want to do like none of the work. It's like, I don't know if the divine necessarily always operates in that, but I know that the less than divine operates in that. And then, you kind of get in trouble if you take it from them. Ten of Cups just came out again with the Lord of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. There's the Lord of Pentacles. I was like, girl, I ain't seen you today. When I first got this deck, again, shout out to Eve, Everlong Mystic. Thank you for this. Instantly resonated with me. The Lord of Pentacles is connected to his flame of truth, and his flame of truth parts the veil. And then here's this Ten of Cups. So we got to be this raging fire. This little itty bitty fire, again, it's not necessarily going to fill that moon. So it's time to stoke the flames a little bit. And then again, here's that Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, with the moon under that. That's what I got for you. Oh wait, I still got to split the deck. Oh, look. There's the Lovers. This Lovers, it's that Ace of Cups energy. The moon is full. The flowers are there. And it's like they're doing their thing. No judgment. I'm not going to judge them today. If they're into like contactless delivery. Ooh, contactless delivery is a thing right now. Oh gosh. The Nine of Swords on this half. Look at that. You see that? That was the moon yesterday? That was the moon the night before last. It was this big golden crescent moon in the sky. And as soon as I saw it, the clouds blew in. And I was like, what? There's something that she fears. That's why, again, the Six of Wands, it's this message of like, we're not supposed to be the things that the challenges and difficulties that we experience in life have the ability to push us further into rising and ascending above them. Excuse me. And that can be the intention more so than like breaking us down and making us feel like we're not worthy or keeping us trapped in these tragic trauma karmic loop cycle things, right? Like that's not the intention at all. But it's the things that she can't face. It's the beast that she fears within herself that keeps it from happening. And who was that? Again, Miss Remy Healings yesterday. I think it was Scorpio. It was that like get wild, tap into your raw sort of power energy. And I know Get Wild came out in the Threads of Fate Oracle cards. Or was it Connect to Heart? It was either Get Wild or Connect to Heart. I think Connect to Heart has live dogs. Get Wild has like dead dogs or like skeleton dogs. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it's like it's not to fear that nature within ourselves. And I feel like this is another sort of trap of the Hierophant, where the Hierophant has sort of put the feminine in the role of nurturer, protector, lover, provider, silent supporter, the one who doesn't sort of really challenge the masculine. For all the goddesses that were full and in their power, they sort of their stories were twisted. Go and watch again Miss Remy Healings. It was Gate 2 when she called it out more. And in Gate 1, she did it in both of them about how the stories were twisted, right? And it's like a lot of older goddess energy was powerful. It was fierce. It came in for a purpose and for a reason. And then as new Hierophant energy came in more and more, like we get these muted goddesses, goddess of beauty and prosperity and fertility and abundance. And it's not that those things aren't within the realm of goddess energy, but the fierce protector is also there. This is her afraid of that side of her. This is her convinced that all of that sort of belongs to the masculine. And that's the thing. It's like as long as you continue to see that as a divine masculine sort of, and I mean, I guess it gets weird. Like, let me just go and not brain it right now. As long as you attribute that to an energy that is not you, you will remain separated from it. And it's like it's not the case. Like you can have that too. Masculine energy isn't the only one that can get upset and then change something with that anger. Anger is not a uniquely masculine emotion, even though, you know, because of rampant toxic masculinity and because of it's like we associate emotions to the feminine and then we tell boys like, you know, don't be a little girl, be a man, blah blah blah. So they it's like the whole thing just gets weird and warped and anger becomes their thing because that's the only sort of viable and valid outlet that they have for all of their emotion. And then it's like now like women can't get angry and use that channel that energy of anger to birth something new into the world. And that's what I was saying earlier when I was like when I was in Reem's live and I was like, I'm triggered, lol. I was like, I'm trying not to like dissociate so hard right now because I'm triggered. And then someone was like, you know, anger is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm not angry. And I don't think they got it because they kept going on about anger. I was like, anger a lot of times, and especially like being a dude, sometimes, a lot of times, especially for dudes, anger masks other emotions. Because again, it's the one that is acceptable for masculine energy. So there's a whole gamut of emotions that now must express itself as anger because that's the only sort of release that they have. Um, again, that's how sort of like Hierophant comes in and it makes everything this weird head warpy sort of like, I think it warps us more sometimes than we realize. So at the bottom of the Nine of Swords is this Lovers. And this brings a whole new clarity, right? That's the gamut of like emotions and energies. I'll just say energies that have been sort of ascribed to masculine and then have been ascribed to feminine. And so she doesn't really get that full embrace of herself. She can't show up fully to this interaction because of what she's been conditioned to believe is not for her. And so she separates her from herself. And again, the thing about that Three of Pentacles energy is that both energies need to show up fully. On the bottom of this side with the Ten of Cups is that Lord of Pentacles again. And the Lord of Pentacles can be for the feminine and the masculine, accepting the truth of who they are in fullness. And in that, it parts the veil in a way that gives us greater access to all that sort of lies in wait for us. But we don't get that as long as we're pinched off and on either side. It's a very interesting predicament that we're in. Because nature speaks, the world around you speaks, the universe speaks, but sometimes it's like it speaks in riddles. But, you know, it motivates, rewards you even more when you tap into the truth that is within you. Like you already have the knowing, it's within all of us. So that's what I got today. This was interesting. A lot longer, an hour and 16 minutes longer than I had hoped today. I was really just going to cut it off today. But it's fine. That was a whole experience. Did I take the picture? I don't think I did, but it's too late now if I didn't. So I will catch y'all later. Oh, snap. As of 2 minutes ago, the new episode of Tranquil Leaves is up. We're going through the tarot right now. I walked away with so much appreciation for the Suit of Swords yesterday, and then the Lord and Lady of Swords came out today. And that's what I experienced the most appreciation for. That's, I guess, where my appreciation grew the most for the Suit of Swords was in that King and Queen of Swords energy. So shout out to the Lord and Lady of Swords for holding it down. And I will catch y'all whenever I catch y'all. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope that you rise to the challenge in your journey of ascension, because, you know, if you're ascending, then I'm assuming you're rising to the challenges. And once they've been overcome, then, you know, you get the rewards. And sometimes the reward is everything that you allow yourself after you're liberated from those limiting thoughts, beliefs, patterns, fears, everything, right? So I'll catch you probably tomorrow.